Well, hey everybody, how are you tonight? Sorry I was a touch late getting started. I absolutely just kind of meant to launch, but then a couple of other life things caught up with me and off we went. So, anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We are in Arc L1 right now, and I thought we would just do a quick Lyria run and then maybe go to Walla from there, but we'll just kind of see whenever we begin these. We never know how long they're going to take, right? I mean, it might take 10 minutes to find something. It might take an hour. So, yeah, absolutely. Dat boy, how are you doing, sir? It's nice to see you this evening. But yeah, let's go ahead and, what I thought we would, I always love this pose when these guys are doing this thing. It's like, wow, what are you doing there? Anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with a little pre-flight. You know, it's always a good thing to do. A little pre-flight stuff on your prospector before you take off. You know, I do have the rush drive on this particular version of my prospector. And it's a good thing I did. Look, this is kind of the reason we do that. We just want to make sure that we have all the consumables on there we want. So we definitely know that we have at least 5 charges in here and, you know, some mysterious amount of charges in the bottom one. So off we go. Sandy! Hey guys, just got the notice. I'm actually running outside to listen. Haha, nice, Sandy. I appreciate that for sure. That's awesome. How you doing this evening? Chris, how you doing this evening? Welcome aboard. So, hey, so here we're just going to go ahead and make a determination. Oh, there's 4. How you doing, 4? Thank you for that. So, we will... Boy, I might want to pull a prospector before I jump in the elevator, maybe, eh? Woo! Hey, Morva, how you doing, man? Good evening. How are you, sir? That's awesome. So we will go ahead and you pull out a prospector, and because I mean, you need something to mine with. You can't just kind of EVA over to Lyria, right, guys? I mean, that'd be a long, boring stream. All right, so we'll hit pad 2 here. Yeah, so, you know, kind of a gray, overcast day here in northern Michigan. A nice day nonetheless. You know, very nice day at work, easy peasy. Good, you know, all good things happening. Kind of got done with work and wife was headed up to town. I thought to myself, you know what? I have a couple of hours and I need to make a few space bucks this week because we are going to be looking to buy a Gemini, a Starfarer Gemini. That's the military variant of the refueling ship, and with refueling kind of right around the corner, that is the next big organizational purchase that I am going to dig my heels in. Now, we have the money now, but you know, anything that we can make this week to help offset those costs is going to help. So, you know, why not do a little mining, a little chit-chatting, make a few space bucks, and do what we do. So... yeah, let's go ahead and we'll jump in the prospector seat here. We'll get this guy engines turned on. We'll go ahead and set Lyria, and we'll do Lyria first. Now, you know, I've been threatening to do Walla a couple of times, and I think depending on how long it does take here tonight, we might sneak over to Walla. Now, Walla's a little like the air in Halo, right? It's not nearly as consistent for mining, but you know what? We'll just kind of see how it goes. But the first order of business is, of course, we need to find something on Lyria first. You know, we got to put a few space bucks in the hopper tonight, so that's our big goal, right? So off we go. Yeah, 3.17 is working its way through Evocati. There has been some leaks. You know, so a lot of the things are in that they've been talking about. Squirrel Lord, how are you doing tonight, Squirrel? It's good to see you, sir. And so, yeah, that's going to be fun. The new release is going to be fun. It's going to have some mining gadgets, which those are going to be interesting to play with, and especially like the differences between the different mining laser heads. Then you have the mining consumables, the passive and the active, and then the mining gadgets. It's going to be interesting to see if there isn't some way to shake up the meta just a little bit and work on it that way. And so I'm really excited about that part of it. Of course, refueling is another important thing as well. I know that's kind of pre-staging for pyro, and probably there won't be a whole lot of reason to do a whole lot of Stanton refueling, but you know, it is a cool mechanic nonetheless. Squirrel says, my prospector kept shutting down on Lyrio and mining. I plan to change my activity for streaming until I figure out how to fix the problem. Now that's weird, Squirrel. I wonder if there's some damage on your ship. You might try maybe you know, kind of claiming. Make sure you remove any like mining, like passives, like FLTRXLs or any of those types of things. But you definitely want to, you know, maybe just kind of claim it and see what's happening there for sure. See if it's kind of something related to that. That is weird that it would just shut down quite a bit. The other possibility, I suppose, is if a rock got hot, it might have hit your ship and damaged the... You can check the life of the heart symbol around... Maybe I can actually even help with that. Like if we take a look at the menu here and we look at the different components, and well, maybe it's power. Yeah, you see this little heart icon here? Maybe you want to check your you know, your power unit and make sure that that's got 100%, you know, a health in it. I mean, that certainly could be something to take a look at. That's maybe where I would start for sure. Hopefully that will help. Just a thought. Oh, Squirrel Lord says, I recently bought a 325A. I got the custom paint job, coffee maker, and food processor. I'll feature it in my next stream. I think that's kind of fun that you can do those little extras with that one for sure. I actually bought the 315P that way with a few extras on it. I think I eventually did end up trading it up or as part of my melt ultimately for the Orion. But I don't remember exactly how that all worked out, but I really like the 300 series. I think it's great. So into wheelers we'll go. And once we hit wheelers here, we'll just kind of, you know, switch over from HOSAS to mouse and keyboard and start looking around for something to mine. Sandy, how you doing? You've been using that mole lately? I know Sandy Claus, it wasn't terribly long ago, ended up getting himself a mole, and so you can, you know, that's the beauty of the mining stream. You know, you can pick up a few little tips and tricks. You know, a couple of us are always around, happy to help and answer any questions, work together as a team, and then you can go ahead and work your way up to whatever ships you want to. Mining is a good way to print money in Star Citizen if you kind of follow some of the basics. Squirrel says, I updated the parts on my prospector, still kept shutting down. I think I'll call my next stream Top Hat Monocle for reasons. Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, that's a good point. You know, you never think you're going to get that deep. Oh, you know, in this thing, hey, there's some doublers. I forgot to log. It's funny. I started out in Port Tressler tonight, and I just threw on my Aerial Armor set, and I never did go back to menus. I just flew over to Arcal 1 and started the stream. So we're going to have blue icons tonight. We'll be all right with them, but I just thought I'd mention. Not the traditional yellow icons that, you know, that everybody loves, but we'll make it work anyways. First set of doublers. Let's first rock of the night. Let's cross our fingers and hopefully this has got a little bit in there. So this is a 44,000 at 4%. That's not going to work. Second rock of the night. Ooh, could be a good one. Oh, look at this, you guys. Nailed it. Only it's 5,900. It's 5,934, but it's 50%. It's 49.94%. I may not be able to get this. And you know who's on the stream right now is Brett or Four. This will drive. This would make Four skin crawl if we have to drive. If we have to go away from this, and I understand why. I'm one surge away from being able to get this rock. You know, so we'll have to see how this goes. I'm going to reposition and get myself. We may not be able to get this one. It is right on the edge. I mean, this is a uni waiting to happen. So, and we're going to have nothing but time. So here, I'm just going to kind of roll a little bit and put this guy right in the dark. And I'm going to crank it up, and we're just going to kind of giggle together and look at this 50%er that we may not be able to get because it's just right over the edge. So we honestly may not be able to get this rock. Now, I have taken them this big before, but I don't know at 49% Quantanium. So let's just kind of, we're going to give it a shot. I'm going to do the math right now. We'll take a look at QuantCalc. It's 5934. 5934 at, I know right now, Forrest, you're probably drinking a wobbly pop and laughing right now, at 49.94. Wow. We'll calculate that rock. And that is going to be a nice 52 SCU of Quantanium in this guy. And I honestly am not sure we're going to be able to break this rock. And the reason is because it's, now we're going to try. Now, you can see I can build stuff into it, right? You can see it will build. So we'll just kind of keep on trying, but it will fall out really fast too. So you can explain, what's this? Oh, how many surge uses it takes. Yeah, I don't have any surges on board. That's the thing. I'm not kitted that way. I never kit myself that way. But this is the right on the edge rock that you always hate to find when you could really easily do this with a surge. So I'm going to continue to try and drive energy into this thing, just kind of using this agitation method, and see if we can get lucky here. It would be a very incredibly lucky break, but of course it is holding some energy in it. So we'll just kind of keep trying. You can see how fast it falls out, though. It's very, very, very difficult. Now, if it gets up close to the green, I will fire a Brant, and I'm going to get in nice and tight here too, around 6 or 7, and just kind of keep on just spiraling in different places, just seeing if we can get lucky somehow. But you can see how fast it falls out too. I mean, it's definitely, it seems like it would be doable, right? Because it does build energy into it, but it can fall out back to 0 just as fast as it can climb up. And so this is that difficult, the one that a difficult rock, So but we've got to kind of give this out a little bit, right? This is too good of a rock to kind of at least not take a crack at. And I have broken this exact size, a 5934 before. I have broken one of these before. Now look at that, you guys. It climbed up pretty high. If it gets up high, close to that optimal, I am going to hit a Brant and try and knock its resistance down and its instability down and try and keep it up there. So, but the question is can I get it up there kind of close to the optimal? And you got to be kind of quick on the draw with the Brants for sure. And you don't want to do it too low or else it will take too long to climb up there. So we're just kind of doing the agitation method, trying to kind of just keep on kind of painting this guy and seeing if we can get lucky. This is kind of one way to kind of hedge your bet here, doing this just kind of agitation thing and seeing if there's some way to build. See how it was up to around 60 or 70%, but see how easily it falls out. This is just a tough break, and we're not going to spend we're not going to sit here for a half hour and try this, but you know what? We are going to see if we can just get lucky here and see if we can get this guy, get some energy into this guy and make it happen. Yeah, old Ford would be giggling at me right here. Like he'd easily get this one with a surge for sure. And so this is the gamble you take, right? The way that I kit is real easy on the Quantanium mining, but there is a top shelf that you can do as far as and it really is around 5,700, or else before you want to crawl under your desk and just cry. But I have broke one other one that was like this before. I don't think it was quite a 49.94%, but it was a high percentage one too. And I just kept kind of doing this and running at it, and eventually it just ran up into the green. And I was able to bang a Brant and keep it up in there and break it. So we're just going to keep on trying here just a little bit. But, we're not going to do this forever. We're just kind of seeing if we can get lucky here. I'm going to take a screenshot of this too. Yeah, it just doesn't look like we're going to be able to get this one. And I kind of knew that, but you just got to try and take a run. You never know. You see how it's fallen out completely? So yeah, it's just one of those things. I mean, it just, if you can get lucky and get it to race up into the, green somehow, just by maybe doing a little bit of agitation with it. I don't want to give up because it's such a nice rock. Such a nice rock for sure. This would, this stream maybe will be titled "The One That Got Away." This is a nice rock. This is, oh my stars. One more go with this. We're just gonna kind of go crazy on it and see if we can just kind of get lucky. And if it falls out one more time, we're just gonna pull the laser in and go look for something else to mine. But we're just going to take one more serious run at this thing. You can see it's getting up to 50. It's getting up there. But it just falls out every so often. We are working. This was just out of our reach. We're just trying to make something funny happen here. We'll get a little tighter and see if we can. We're working it. We're working it. It's getting up there. It's getting close. I might pop the brant at some point. Uh-oh, look at that, you guys. All right, I hit the brant. Just that will kind of stymie it falling out or whatever. Too bad. See how bad it's tried to plunge? Like we would have lost a lot more of it. It's right in the area now. It actually touched the green for just a second. But it's harder to work it back up into the area, but we're working. See, it's falling away. It's falling away. See how we got close there? It does give you the, it's no guarantee. And even if it gets up into the green, it's no guarantee. It can plunge right down. So I think we definitely helped ourselves by popping the brant. It probably would have fallen out. And what Squirrel's saying is I use the Helix. Yep, I mean the Helix would have probably had the power to do this, but of course then you don't get the negative 75% instability and resistance. So there's gives and takes with all sorts of stuff. There definitely is. And it doesn't look like this one we're going to pull out of the fire, though. It just doesn't look like it. All right, we'll try and run her up again here. I'd even let it go into the red a little bit. It wouldn't scare me at all if I could get it to kind of just go up there. Oh, she's heading the wrong direction. Judgment's the better part of valor, you guys. Sometimes you just gotta, you know what? Back away and go find something else. That's a great rock. I hate to do it, but you know what? That's just the way it goes sometimes. And I just didn't have the kit for it, but if you could see agitating it, I did get it to go just touch the green for a second. But no, wasn't meant to be. So we probably could have sat there another half hour and maybe made it work or maybe not. So we just got to kind of, sometimes you just got to pull the plug and go look someplace else. There's always more rocks to be found. Now that was a nice rock though, 52 SCU in one rock. Second rock we looked at. That is a really nice rock that we had to drive away from. Yeah, Squirrel, we'll go try something else. And here's a couple of doublers. We'll go in and check out these guys and see if we can get a consolation prize. That is for sure. You know, you can't get too worked up. I mean, you know, you kind of, you know, choose your kit, the kit that you're comfortable with, and definitely I can understand why some people would, you know, I honestly believe though that's the one right there, right, with the mining gadgets coming out. That's the one right there that if I were to sneak out and attach the one that would just give me a little bit more, that one would have been right on the edge and we'd have got that one. So it had a little fun with, you know, attaching the gadget to that thing and kind of tuning that thing up, but that would have been the one there. So yeah, nothing in these doublers. We'll keep on looking. All right. Couple of singles there. And as you can tell, you can see, look, now I'm starting to kind of definitely keep the sun right around my, 12 o'clock position. And the reason is, you know, as we talk about many times on the stream, is we don't want to end up having, pivoting back or just doing, kind of end up scanning the same group of rocks that we already scanned. And we will, see how that goes. So it's just one of those things, the not being able to get that rock. It definitely was. It's a bummer to have to drive away from, but gotta move on. Squirrel Lord says, I think I'll need to get all my components of my prospector to grade A military or industrial before I try planet side again. Probably not a bad idea. I mean, something wonky is going on there, Squirrel, for sure. I've never had it where my prospector would shut down. Of course, I have the other prospector, so I'd probably just grab that one right away and see if that was acting the same way, Here's a set of doublers. We'll take a look at them. Sandy Claus says, can you explain your kit and the 4 kit in the differences? My kit right now, I have an FLTRXL. That's, that's, if I hit M here, you can see on the left-hand side of the UI, underneath mining modules, I have an FLTRXL and then 2 brands. So that's, one of them says offline, but I know there's a brand down there. So there are different things that you can choose there, and different people choose different things. And so I think that's, and they have, various different things that they affect. This is a 40/40, you guys. This is a 3987 at 45%. So that's a good rock. What's this guy here? And, I don't really have a ton of experience at all the different ones. The only other kit that I generally run with, Sandy, is having a surge or 2 surges and a stampede, or a surge, a stampede, and a brant. And that way you can actually just use your surge. Like, when I got to half energy, I could have hit 1 surge and blew it up into the green and then used a stampede to run it through on that last rock. Now, we got lucky again here. This is this kind of falls in the category of our 40/40. I see what you're saying, Squirrel. That's really interesting that you can mine in space with no problems. But I wonder if it's still shutting down, but the reason that there's no problems is it's not falling out of atmosphere. You're still kind of floating in space when it kicks back on or whatever. It's interesting. So, yeah, there's more than 32 SCU in this rock. Here, I'll do the math real quick on it. Let me go ahead and pull up QuantCalc, and we'll take a peek here. So this is a 3987 at 45.4. And we will take a look at this rock. This rock has 36 SCU. So if it breaks clean, the consolation prize isn't bad. Now, it will kind of roll down the hill here, but this will be a much easier break. I'm actually going to, once again, reposition just a touch, to kind of use the dark as I get a little closer to build a little contrast in. And as soon as I'm in optimal range, we'll just want to make sure we're not drifting, because I feel like I am. Good. We'll crank this thing up just a touch, and we will make this happen. This will be an easier break. We'll get this one for sure. Am I in VTOL? Good question. I don't think I am. But I can go VTOL. And that might steady us out a touch. Good point. Oh, and Squirrel, Sandy might have been talking to you as too. Are you in VTOL when you're, probably it doesn't matter, but are you in VTOL when you're, when you have those issues with your prospector? All right, easy break here. Sandy says, I only mine on the dark side. Contrast is super helpful. The reason I don't really mine on the dark side is a couple reasons, Sandy. One of them is I think it is better for the stream that it's not so dark. That's just kind of my own opinion on the streaming part of it. But also, people can see you from like 20, 30,000 away. I'm not talking hundreds. I'm talking thousands and thousands away. People can see you from space, when you're mining on the dark side. I mean, literally, your lasers they can be seen from space. So if somebody is actively troving for pirates, that is a thing for sure. So, Squirrel says, my Helix setup has no trouble cracking mass 5,000. Good thing I was low flying when cracking said rock. I must have fell 30 feet. I didn't use VTOL at the time. I should try that. Yeah, definitely. You try the VTOL stuff for sure. That probably will definitely help them. None of this kind of came tumbling down the hill, which is good. Yet, anyways. So we got a 98%er here. We'll just got to start by cracking that guy, and we'll just kind of go from there. All right. Oh, we're climbing pretty quick. That's a pretty low mass. That's why. So we'll just kind of get this guy going up here a touch more, and we'll fire a brand and flatten that out. Notice it goes from a 2.67 instability to a 0.66. So real manageable. But this is just a tiny little guy. But most of it's Quantanium. It's 428 mass, so there's like an 8 SCU here. And we're just going to kind of work this guy, and probably when we break it, some will tumble down the hill, but maybe not. And if it does, we'll know that a lot of that at the bottom of the hill, at least in this particular case, will be, Quantanium. Quantanium. Sandy says, I accidentally hit I in my custom... Oh, and shut off my engines. I've shut off my engines before. I also, for whatever reason, like to hit C now and then instead of M. That's a 2. There's 2% in that one. I guess I'm just going to leave that there. So that'll account for some of that 36 SCU. There's going to be nothing in this guy, or a small percentage. Yep. And so, yeah, I definitely hit C and started cruise control and ended up, oh boy, just ended up not good, for sure. A couple of times just smashing into either the rock in Atmo, or, the planet surface in Atmo, or right down in, smashing it right in the air in Halo, just banging it right in the teeth with my mining laser for sure. I've done that so many times. Well, and the Helix used to be the meta, just the more powerful laser, Squirrel, for sure. It definitely used to be the meta, and there's nothing wrong with using a Helix. It's just a little more wily when you're going to be doing your, when you're doing your breaks. It's just going to be just a touch more wily. Good break there. And so this isn't going to have anything in it. What is the concentration of borax in it? Just 3%. This guy should have quite a bit in it, to be honest with you, then. 87%. Yeah, so this is good. This was an easy rock to break. Nothing crazy here at all. Nothing crazy here at all. Squirrel, I use a Helix because I see Laranite and other valuable metals often. I like to have my options open. I'm not overly picky. That's a really good point. I tend to stream Quantanium mining because I think it's probably the most difficult to mine. And I do think that a lot of people who come watch the stream are really trying to get comfortable maybe with Quantanium mining. But I absolutely love Bexolite mining. I would go Bexolite mining any day of the week. I have no problem with it. I like, anything with the ites, any laranite, taranite, hephaestonite, all those are great. Bexolite, and borace you don't find in incredibly great concentrations, but I wouldn't mind getting some of that either. I think we're ready to scoop. I know this is a hundo sliding down the hill there. Oh, there is one more back there. Let's go ahead and double check that guy. Yeah, it's another small mass, but a 50%er. Let's go ahead and get this guy too. Yeah. We'll kind of let that guy slide up in there. It's another kind of a small. It's hanging right around there, even though it's a 2.18. I am kind of feathering back and forth here a little bit. We'll look for a big dive. If it dives, we'll kind of crank it up. Oh, we managed. Look at that. She stayed pretty even. We managed to break that without too much extra hassle there. I think we're in good shape to scoop, you guys. I definitely do. So we'll start with this guy who snuck down here. Let's see if I can scoop it from this distance. Doesn't look like it. Here it comes. Squirrel Lord saying he made good money off laranite. I plan to fill up my cat with Quantanium and laranite to sell the next load. I always like to tell people, obviously I make a lot of money with Quantanium, but originally what made me rich was agricium. I mean, agricium is super plentiful on Yella, and before they actually had the refineries, I was an agricium miner for the most part. You could find it in regular available amounts, and yeah, I mean, laranite, taranite, any of that stuff. I love mining that stuff, and I do look forward to the time when you do need those other things. So I'm really looking forward to that time when some of those other things are important for sure. So a lot of this should be hundos in here, but we'll just kind of keep after it. Yeah, this guy cut up okay. We'll see how it goes. Beautiful. There's another hundo. And here's another hundo, probably. Yep. Okay. And here's another hundo. Oh, I think my daughter brought my grandson over. I can hear him crying in the background. So if you hear that, sorry about that. He's grumpy about something. Alrighty, off we go here. Get this one on board, another hundo. We're just crossing 15 SCU, so we're starting to kind of 16, almost 17. We still got a little bit more to grab here. There's a hundo. Squirrel says, I'm primarily a combat pilot and a bunker raider. But I'm finding the mining game loop to be relaxing and rewarding. It really is relaxing. I agree with that. That's kind of the reason, obviously making space bucks is the primary reason why I do this game loop. But I really enjoy mining. It's just relaxing. It's you can make a lot of things, and being able to I bought the M2. That's a 95%er, and so I'm gonna kind of just scan this stuff. Being able to afford other ships in the game is really nice too, as well. So. It's just one of those things, you just kind of definitely find your balance at what you enjoy. I knew there was a 2%er there. This was nothing. So what's in this? Okay, so notice that's a dead break, but I'm still was able to pull out of it. I just crossed 25 SCU. Oh, there's an edge there. Let's kind of pop up and see just check that edge out. 100% barrel. And I can't remember. I don't remember what's in this guy. Okay, that's nothing. This guy is a 44. This guy's a 95. So let's go ahead and pull this on board. This will start kind of getting us into the into the non. We definitely aren't going to pull a uni out the way this broke. I thought there was one other piece that slid down here. Maybe I'm wrong. And I think this guy was half. So we're crossing 27 SCU there. Not quite 28. Yeah. Oh, yep. Just over 28. Excellent. Excellent pull so far. Both these didn't really have anything. I think this is kind of us. Let me just double check. We still got 12 minutes. We got plenty of time. I don't think this was anything. Oh, there's a 75%er. Yep, we'll bring that guy on board at a 118, and that's going to fill us up, and we're at 29.75. That is a very respectable first run, and we will go ahead and set ARC L1 as our, as our quantum location, and we'll kind of climb up out of atmosphere and go ahead and spool up the quantum drive and head on in. Off we go. Squirrel says, he says, the module that filters out inert materials is very good to have. Yeah, the FLTRXL is definitely one that I have. I think I was talking to somebody recently on the stream, and they said they run 3 of those, or 2, they really stack those up. They like having those. So they just use the Lancet, primarily just use the Lancet as the, as the debuff. They'll just take that's negative 75% instability, negative 75%, and just use that, and and for sure. So good first run. So we're gonna go ahead and take this on into the hopper, and then we may do something that is maybe not the wisest choice, which is head back over to. I've been threatening, and I've had a couple people ask me on the side too, to maybe go take a look at Walla, and so Walla's a little like the Air and Halo. I mean, you're not guaranteed to find much there. Archer, good evening, sir. How are you there? It's good to see ya. And so that was pretty quick. Maybe 3 runs tonight, Chris is asking. Well, yeah, we'll have to see how it goes, Chris. That was pretty quick. And so, I could head back to Lyria and see if we can just get another quickie or not, or whatever. Or we could buzz over to Walla and, roll the dice and maybe just do 2 tonight. But, there's never, it's always exponentially slower in the Air and Halo or over on a different planet, or pardon me, a different moon. So we'll have to see how that goes. That's for sure. But this was a very good first run, you guys. Ratherby, good morning from India. How you doing, Ratherby? Thanks for mining. Thanks for the mining fix. You bet, man. You absolutely bet. Thanks for joining in this morning, and that's awesome. I really do. Ratherby Traveling is a good name too. I like that. Archer, gonna hop in channel if just a minute, if you don't mind, kind sir. If you can hop in the channel, Archer. We can chat a bit. You bet. I appreciate you asking. But I think I'm streaming up there, so you can be right on the moment. So the only thing you probably might want to do is make sure you turn down your turn down YouTube so it doesn't feed, double up in the stream. Other than that, come on over. Do some chatting. So first quantum, second quantum. We still have not heard first alarm. We're in really good shape. And easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. We're not coming in real hot, just, between 3 and 4. And I will go ahead and reach out now to... You can see that I've already kind of got a comm established here. We'll go ahead and give him another yell. And right after I do that, I pop the gear down normally. And then just kind of approach a little bit more and see if they give us a landing pad or not. But if they don't, usually I'm a fairly impatient. Here's the best quality of life thing in 3.17 that's coming, right? Is just the one button push. You don't have to do kind of all this closing and resubmitting, right? The one button push call the pad. That's going to be one of the coolest. If that feature alone, if 3.17 just had that feature, I'd probably be a happy guy. I mean that. All right, so we'll just kind of keep on keeping on here. It's being a little slow, and we can always go touchdown. Oh, there it goes. We can always go touchdown on the wrong pad if we wanted to. No big deal. Joey Goodwin, 21 peeps today. Hello, all. Hey, Joey, how are you doing? Really excited for the new hotkey in 3.17. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about, rather. That is exactly right. I'm looking forward to that, too. That's like the first thing I'm going to do when I'm going to map that to my sticks. Gear down. We'll go ahead and just touch down. There's first alarm. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And we just go ahead and do our post flight. Turn the engines off. And we will run on in for sure. All right. So there's the first 29 SCU of Quantanium. Just a real easy run. It's so funny. We found a 5934 at 49%. It was just out of our reach, so we really did try and take a good run at that, but we were unable to crack it. And I'll tell you, we did find an excellent consolation prize, though, and we were able to pull down 29 SCU and some change. Scalba, how you doing tonight? It's nice to see you. Send an MFD to comms, and it's a lot faster. You know what, Scalba, you're absolutely right. It is a lot faster, and I probably almost as a pre-launch type thing. I should do that. I should, because you're absolutely right. If you just kind of click in the UI, it just seems to be one click, and it does work. I think what I get bit by the lazy bug. I wish it would, like when you set your MFDs every time you spooled up the ship, it would kind of retain what your settings were. And because I would have to do it every time, I think I just kind of I'm lazy about that. I'm going to be perfectly honest. That's a 100% me being lazy. For sure. All right. So that guy is stored. Down to the refinery we go. And, yeah. We'll go ahead and go put this guy in the hopper. We will come back out and do another run. And so we'll have to make a decision here. Are we going to go back to Lyria and try and, do some low-hanging fruit? Or are we going to hit Walla and unfortunately drag this group of people around looking for rocks at a much slower clip? I think we might just go back to Lyria because, before we end the night and, go a little slower. Yeah, Scout, but I wish they stayed too. That's for sure. I do. I wish when you set your MFDs, they were persistent. And I know that's something that they're going to have for sure. That is for sure. Down to the refinery we go. Archer.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt you, so.
You're not interrupting. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How about you?
Doing very well. So, Archer's showing the stream. He's, somebody who, originally, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Archer, you probably watch the stream a little bit and then eventually join the org. And and then we do a little mining together from time to time.
Actually, it was the first time I saw the stream. And
Oh,
then I joined.
The first time you saw the stream, you thought, well, there's maybe a kindred soul. Archer's a heck of a good miner. So it's been a blessing to have. It's always a blessing when you pick up people who are competent pilots, but he definitely. Oh, I almost went with the Cormac method. That would have been wrong. You see, hold on just a second. Look at the Cormac method, you guys, just really quickly before I it's like, look at my yield. It would have been 29. If I would have accidentally Cormac'd myself, I would have literally cut down my yield by a third. 2976 to 1979. Don't do. If you take anything away from the stream today, don't do that. So here, let me get the quote here. Notice I started out at 2976 and only go down to 2827 with Dynex. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll keep 1/3 of our Quantanium order. So, but yeah, going back to Archer, it's just nice picking up another good miner who's real good at mining, and yeah, it's been a blessing.
Yeah, on my way to I want to get my M2 loaded up and Lowerville.
Oh, so you're doing a cargo run right now?
Well,
or are you on your way to buying M2? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm on my way to your station to get my M2. That's already there.
Oh, nice.
Hopefully, all the workloads I have are enough to fill it. If not, it's going to be a bit disappointing, but I hope I can fill it up.
Absolutely. So Dave, oh, sorry, one sec, Archer. David F has a question, and one that's an easy one to answer. I just came across your stream, great content. Thank you, David. I really appreciate that. I don't recognize your name for the stream. I try and remember people as much as I can. Go ahead and like and subscribe, man, if you like the content, for sure. But to answer your question, how do you move around the laser head when cracking the rocks? You just hit G a couple of times. So G is that same button that allows you to toggle through your... Oh, I forget when you're in combat what that's called when you... gimbals. That's what it is. G for gimbals. That's exactly right. Thank you, Archer. And so when you have your mining laser out, you hit M to pull your mining laser out, David. If you hit G a couple of times, it will actually, it will put that little circle in there, and then all of a sudden you'll notice you can move your mining head laser around and articulate on the rock a little bit. Great question, and I'm glad you asked it. Yep, but when in mining mode, you just press G. So we will go.
Actually, that is a really good question.
Yeah, that's an excellent question, and it would when you don't realize you can do that the first time you see somebody else doing that, you're like, what? Yeah. What on the? Exactly. What the heck? How can they? What voodoo is that? For sure. So
I didn't know. I pressed G by accident once, and oh wait, oh.
Yeah, it's a nice. It's nice, but if you do pull the laser head too far, it will move the ship. But you have a little wiggle room there, and it makes it nice. All right, so do a little pre-flight here. Looks like the prospector's still looking good. We will pull the prospector back out, and I think we will head back. Oh, I hit prospector 2. I will put prospector 2 away and promptly pull back up prospector 1. Prospector 2 is probably fine. I probably have it. Kitted just the same. Hey, no problem, David. Happy to answer your question for sure. So let's look at prospector.
You have 2 prospectors?
I do have 2 prospectors. It's a funny story that. Yeah. So I started out. I think it was 3.11. So I'm just going to pull prospector 1 this time. And I hand mined until I could earn the ROC. And I started out in 2014 with the Cuddy Black, but I never played Star Citizen until I caught an Obsidian Ant video about a week before Thanksgiving a year ago. So I've been playing Thanksgiving. A week before Thanksgiving was my 1-year anniversary. That type of thing. So calling the elevator now. We'll head over to pad 1. So what happened was I ROC mined for 3 straight weeks, every night for hours. It was my wife, who's just the most loving gal, and is really understanding of of this gaming addiction that I have. She was like, dude, you can't every night be on the computer 6 or 8 hours. So I'm like, I'm getting the prospector one way or another. I'm just killing rock mining every night, you know. And so I get the prospector, and I had it for like 2 days, and I just fell in love with it. The prospector's my favorite ship in the game. Fell in love with it. And then it went from 3.11 to 3.12, and I had never gone through a patch at that time. And the first thing I read was they wiped the database, and I'm like, I am not rock mining every night for 3 weeks to buy a prospector to have that thing wiped. And I was grumpy, you know. So I went right to the Rodbridge Space Industry site. I pulled out my credit card. I bought a prospector. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not going through that grind again. I earned it. I want it, you know. So then come to find, I logged in. I had 2 of them. I'm like, I should have just logged in first. Gosh darn it.
Oh,
so
you have the one you earn and get,
yes.
and the one you bought.
That's exactly right. That's how that worked out. Now eventually, because I own the prospector, and I ended up, you know, with the Orion, now that's the reason I have 2 of them now. But the reason I bought one originally was that specific reason. So I was not being denied the prospector after that heavy of a grind with ROCs.
The prospect of having to grind all that again, huh?
Oh, it was not happening. And I mean, and don't get me wrong, I liked ROC mining, but I might have been handed divorce papers if I put that type of a grind back in for 3 straight weeks. So I wasn't doing it, you know. So, and I would, you know, and the thing is like, she was in the right. I mean, I was like, you know, I was obsessed with getting the prospector. You know, my wife, she was absolutely in the right. I mean, and she doesn't, you know, she's super respectful of my, you know, gaming, but it's like I'm a father of 4. I can't every night like, sorry kids, I'm not checking your homework. Papa's got to grind this ROC stuff. You know what I mean? That's not happening. So it's hilarious. But anyway, so that's why I ended up with, you know, I've got more than 1 prospector. And here's the last thing I want to say about that. I decided I like having more than 1 prospector. I can kit them different. If I land one on the wrong pad, I can pull the other one. You know, I am the kind of guy, like, if I go to the store and I like the shirt, I'll buy 3 of the same one. You know?
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I kind of have it. I am that way. So the prospector is my favorite ship in the game. That's another reason probably why I have 2. And the reason it's my favorite ship in the game is because it prints money. Yeah.
Yes.
They should just call the thing the money printer. Once you kind of have it in your hands and that type of thing. So, anyways.
I mean, looking at it that way, I mean, there are other ships that print money too, but for different things. Like a
They
big
do.
combat ship will print money, doing bounties and other.
Oh, like
missions.
the Sentinel, for instance, or one of the Warden. Yeah, those things are the Vanguards or whatever. I mean, they are money printers.
Vanguard,
They will print you money in bounty hunting for sure. You know, and I'd like to think that the C2 eventually will get there if they'll get the commodities market sorted out.
Yeah, the trading. Hopefully, they won't screw that up.
I would trade a lot more. I mean, I would trade on a fairly consistent basis if it was anywhere near as much money as I could make mining. And maybe it would be if I really dug in, but you know, I do watch Jack stream a lot, Jack Axton, and I don't know that he consistently makes as much money as I do mining in the most respectful sense. Now Jack's he's just having fun, cruising around, but he's a real sharp guy when it comes to trade.
I mean, I did see a video of this guy doing trade, but he was doing drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So in the game right now, that's the best way to make money by trading, but it's so risky and you have to be lucky to be able to sell all your load.
Well, it's the bottleneck for selling, right? Because the couple times that I have kind of gotten into high risk stuff, it seems like I ended up going to CRUL5 and just dumping it because I couldn't actually sell it in any reasonable amount of time. But that's me. I mean, I'm sure there are tips, tricks. I have focused 100% really most of my knowledge into mining. So that's what I know.
Indeed. See, but that's exactly what you were saying. I mean, there's knowledge there, Since the
Absolutely.
card go in and the trading still gonna change, maybe a lot or maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
The the tricks and the knowledge you have today might not be the same when they come up with a different trade, but mining will still be the same.
Yeah, up to a point. I do hope that I hope that they increase the size of the rocks. I really do
Right.
hope that there's like 13,000 mass rocks that only a mole can get. I don't want those to take over and be like a far greater percentage of those. But I definitely would like to see some of that kind of stuff. And man, I'm okay in space if there's rocks that are up to 30,000 mass. Bring in 3 moles and have them all hit the lasers. I mean that kind of thing. I'm okay with it. I
And of
think it'd
course
be fun.
yeah, and of course they will have to put bigger rocks for the Orion. I mean, come
Heck
on.
yeah. All right, so we're back
Yeah.
on Lyria, you guys. We're going to just kind of cruise around here and see if we can't find something to put the lasers on. Andreas, good evening. How are you, Andreas? Good to see you. And so, if anybody has anything you want to chat about mining, give a shout. We Archer can answer a lot of questions. I can answer a lot of questions. Four's around. I know he's good at answering a lot of questions. We have a really good mining community here, you guys. So go ahead and ask anything that might be you might be thinking about. All right, so let me find the sun here and just kind of get myself orientated. Ooh, okay, this direction. So I like to keep the sun at. I mentioned it, at my 12 o'clock position, just because I don't want to end up, doing circles, which I will. Big Z Gaming, welcome to the channel. Not a name I recognize, and appreciate you showing up. How you doing tonight? Yeah. So Big Z saying he got shot at for the first time in Lyria today. Big Z, was it NPCs or was it actually did you draw an actual bounty hunter or somebody? And then Existence is saying, hello, I have a question. Sure, go ahead and shoot your question, Existence Space, for sure. Would love to answer any questions for you. And like I said, guys, throw a like on there if you like the content, for sure. It helps channel. Oh, Big Z, I'm glad to hear you. Big Z says he's doing great. Good to hear that, man, for sure. Andrea says, all good, lost a full freelancer load of Quan due to a disconnect, but brought 5 full 32 SCU loads of Quantum to the refinery today. So, Andreas had a big payoff today. Good for you, Andreas. That's a 5 full 32s, man. That's a solid. That's a nice batch of Quant to bring in. Okay, so Existence says I did hand mining and tried to refine the gems. So Existence had a night, Aphorite and Dolivine. You do not need to refine. Those are the hand minables. You just take those and sell those. So if you're hand mining and you put some in your backpack, you just haul them over to like one of the mining things like Shubin Mining or one of those places and it will have like the little orange half moon outside, and you can just take them in there. And you do have to take them out of your backpack, I believe, and maybe put them in a ship. I can't remember that part. No, I think you can sell them out of your backpack.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you can sell from the back.
But from the ROC, if you ever do get an ROC, I think you have to take them out of that, or drive the ROC out of the ship or something. There's something there. I could look into it. But you do not. I absolutely know 100%. You do not refine Hadanite, Dolivine, or Aphorite. You just go and sell that stuff. It's just a gem you can sell, to like one of the mining facilities, like Shubin Mining or I think maybe even an admin center. It's been a little while since I hand mined. I do have a good video though on my channel about hand mining, and so it's just been a minute. So I don't remember the selling part of it as much, but I definitely know you don't have to refine it. So I absolutely know you can sell it at one of the like Shubin mining centers. Sorry about that, Archer. Go ahead.
I never hand mined ever.
Oh,
I did in prison.
In prison, yeah, you can mine. I hand mined. I liked hand mining. and at one point, hand mining was the only persistent thing in the universe. You know, the backpacks were persistent, so I always didn't like the fact that I would 30K and lose money. So that's the reason I did it. So Mr. Zai saying you just sell at the admin, if I remember correctly. Admin. Thank you, Scalba. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for chipping in and helping Existence out. So I hope that answers your question, Existence. If not, please, ask again for sure. No, you can make profit hand mining. I mean, first of all, the first question you always have to ask yourself, Existence, is are you having fun? Because that's what put the hooks in Star Citizen for me, was hand mining. I flew over to Daymar. I landed my 135C. I stepped out of my 135C, and over the horizon was Crusader. And I was just about to go into this space cave, and I thought to myself, this game is straight fire. This is unbelievable. I can't believe how cool this game is. And so question number one is, are you having fun? There's always going to be min-max ways to make more money or less money. And if you want my opinion, sure, prospecting is probably one of the premier ways. I mean, it's at least top 5 ways to make money in Star Citizen, and really maybe second, or moling and prospecting. But if you're having fun hand mining, go hand mining, man, and you can make money doing that. You'll make 25, 30,000 a pop if you kind of go into those caves and you work hard at it. And there's nothing wrong with that kind of money. I mean, it's and one thing you do like about it is you get instantly paid. You don't have to wait for the refiner and that type of thing. So, give it a shot. Let's see, Draconia Spiritus. How you doing, Drac? How does mining in SC compare to mining in Elite Dangerous? Good question, really. I think that I haven't mined in Elite Dangerous for a couple of years, Drac. So I'm not sure I'm the best guy at answering that. I really did like the Void Opal mining. I think it was deep core mining. Yeah, I did like that loop. I would say that it's different, but but Star Citizen mining's very enjoyable. I do really like it. Every single time you go out, you never know what you're going to find, if you're going to find something right away or you're not. It's just one of those things. I think both are enjoyable mining loops. I haven't done Elites in a while, but I'm here playing Star Citizen. I hope that may answer. And I love space mining, so maybe that's the best answer for the question. Squirrel Lord says I mined an ED a lot, so maybe he might have some perspective on that too for you. Andreas says the best way to make money is the thing that makes. Yeah, I agree with Andreas. Whatever you're having fun. I know that's kind of cliche, but just getting on the game and enjoying the game is really the first. I have really I play this long game on Star Citizen, and not like when I was younger, I was the same way as everybody else. Go as fast as you can, get all the content done as fast as you can. With Star Citizen, it's a little more of just kind of a sandbox with some surprises, So, there is no, you can't. Oh, my first set of doublers in a little while. Thank goodness. You can't really. There is no doing something repetitively in Star Citizen and having a skill number go up or something like that. It's a little different in that capacity. So, Star Citizen to me feels a lot more like kind of an advanced version of Star Wars Galaxies, even though the crafting system's not quite there than anything else. So, Squirrel Lord says fun matters most. I agree with that. What do you think about that, Archer? Fun first.
I mean, that's true for everything. I mean, if you're not having fun, it's not worth it.
Absolutely. Look at this. Half this rock is buried below the. So we'll see what's in this guy. So, all right. Folks talk about the grind. I say if it's a grind, don't do it. Yeah, I can appreciate that. There have been grinds in the past that I've wanted to do because, the end may justify the means or whatever. But, Star Citizen definitely, has its grindy elements to it. I think especially when it comes to bounty hunting and that type of thing. But I think that combat is really fun in Star Citizen too. So, you know, especially space combat's fun. I'm not the best at that stuff. I do a ton of mining. That's kind of where my... But, you know, I definitely know that there's a group of people who really love, who really do love space combat and Star Citizen. And there's some really great content creators that do that kind of stuff. There's a 6%er. That's not going to do it for us. We're going to go ahead and scan this guy here. That is a 4532 too.
I just did all my math. I added all my work orders.
Yep.
Oh man, 462
SEU. Oh wow, 462 SEU. Hear that? Arch has worked really hard. He's gotten to the end of his refining jobs. He's loading up his M2, and he's got 462 SEU Quantanium. What's that at 88?
Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I don't. But I'm a bit disappointed though because I wanted to fill my M2.
Well,
122.
Well, you're only short about 60 units or so not too bad.
Damn. Oh well. Tries again. This time, Lorville, sell, and then I'm gonna do something really nice.
That might be doublers over there. There's another rock right next to it, but it's like... Yeah, that might be a... I don't know. They're not too far from each other. Let's go over and we'll put a visual on those guys. It's a little slower this time on Lyria than it was the first time. We really got lucky that first time, and so we're definitely gonna go ahead and take a scan here and see what... These definitely... They may not be... They might be, but they may not be either. They're almost at that distance where you do wonder. It looks like they are. I can see the marbling in them now. So, Dave S. says, cheers, guys. Bedtime in the UK. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Dave, thanks for joining, for sure. I really do appreciate it. This is going to be a good rock, you guys. A decent one. This is a 27%er at 32.91, so not fantastic, but not terrible. Dave, have a great night. Thank you for joining, sir. Appreciate it. Squirrel Lord says, combat is easier in Elite Dangerous, but you'll develop a lot of bad habits in Elite Dangerous. I recently played Elite Dangerous using the skills in SC, and I felt like I was Anakin massacring the younglings. That's rough. A little seal clubbing, eh? All right, so let's do some math on this guy. It's a 3291 mass, so we'll go ahead and let me kind of plug these numbers in. So this is a 3291 mass. And this is a 26.92%, so essentially a 27%. We'll just go ahead and take a look here. This is only going to be in the low 20s of SCU, I believe. Yikes, that is 17.7 SCU. And if it breaks funny, real close to about half of what I'm looking for. I think I'm going to pull up on that one and go look for something else. I don't normally do that, but you know, it's just barely over like that 15, 17 SCU, and if it cracks funny... You know, you very well could be driving away with 13, 14 SCU, and that's just not quite enough, for sure. Mr. Angel, welcome to the channel. What's that, Archer? Sorry about that.
You know what they need to add to the refinery?
What's that?
When you collect your work orders, like collect all. Going through 20 work orders, that's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, I think they do that right now because it has to decide like how much room. It wouldn't know like where to cut it off or whatever, but I think you're right. I mean, obviously, I think it's something they should be able to work out in the future. Everything seems like, you know, of course, when they first put it in Star Citizen, it is kind of that MVP, minimum viable product type. You know, it just kind of gets over the finish line. You know, and I understand why that is. So, but anyways, yeah, Mr. Angel, welcome to the channel. How you doing, sir? Andrea says, not having an elite solo mode was one thing that prevented me from trying SC for the longest time. An elite-like solo mode. Oh, I see. So Andreas was saying, like, it didn't have a single game, like a single-person game experience, which kind of kept him away from SC. You know, right now with the 50 people on it per server cap, it does feel kind of a little bit like that. But, you know, I understand. I could certainly understand if somebody wants to just kind of have a single-player experience. The persistent universe is definitely you're definitely going to run across other Star Citizens in it. That's for sure. Yeah, live long and prosper. emoji is going through the channel right now. That's awesome. Little Star Trek fame. Dig it.
Yeah.
Well, we're out here on Lyria looking for things to mine, and she's a little sluggish right now. So I'm going to give it about another 5-10 minutes, and then I might hit an OM and come back down. Now, I had thought about going to Walla the second time, and we would have been probably doing the the same thing on Walla, so it's not too bad. I mean, Mr. Angel saying he's checking out Star Citizen since Elite is dead now. I had heard that Elite was hitting its snags, and I will tell you guys, I backed both Star Citizen and Elite Dangerous at the same year. I think it was 2014. I think that was the year, but it was definitely the year for Star Citizen. But I was a Kickstarter for Elite Dangerous as well. Elite was my favorite game in the 80s. There was Elite on the on the Commodore 64.
Yes.
And I absolutely loved Elite. It's literally my favorite computer game of all time. And Elite Dangerous really does click a lot of those buckets for me. There was always something that felt just a touch, I don't know, for myself, and I'm not going to knock Elite Dangerous. I love the fact that there's space games. Because we really did go through a space game gap for a while. And I love space games. But, and like Chris is saying, I played a little bit around the Odyssey time. I definitely played, when there was that December when they released Mining, I did a bunch of Elite Dangerous. And then also for Elite, I did do it in VR one time, and I thought that was fantastic. So I'm not going to knock Elite Dangerous. There was a little bit for me when I played Elite, a little bit of I just kind of felt like I was alone on an island. And even when I played with other people, it just, I don't know, it just didn't quite scratch the itch for me. But no disrespect to anybody who played Elite Dangerous. I played it a ton, and I did like the mining loop when it first, especially when they kind of changed everything to the void opals. I made a lot. I think it seems like it was like 600 million or something in like a month or 3 weeks or something.
I made a lot. I think I made like almost, not to be, basically like 14 billion.
Yeah, I mean, I could see how you could do that. I mean, it did not take me long to get like up to, like I think I made about 600 million in like a few weeks, and then I was just like, I'm not.
I mean, consistently getting the opals and knowing exactly where to look for them, and there was that sweet spot. I found all that.
Well, there was like some kind of a graphic, like you could set your graphics a certain way or something, and you could see it in the rocks. It seemed like there was something like that. Like,
the contrast.
Yeah, the contrast, exactly. Yep, the color was like a darkened color.
Yes. With the scanning would help a lot.
Absolutely.
I made so much money out of that. Never spent it. I was waiting for the carriers, and then when the carriers came, it was such a, I don't know, disappointment.
Kind of ho-hum, eh?
Yeah, I was like, no.
Interesting. Yeah, Mr. Angel saying that all the console development is scrapped, and I definitely did hear that. I seen the Obsidian Ant video about that, and I definitely understand why that's, whenever a big game company is scrapping development of things, it is a concerning thing. Like it would be, as if you can imagine, if Star Citizen all of a sudden says, hey, we're scrapping Squadron. Now, I myself, I might be okay with that. Not everybody would be.
I mean,
I like the persistent universe of Star Citizen, but
I mean, exactly. Who would care? Squadron 42 was care.
Oh, I think people care. I know that like you and I have talked about it before, and I think you and I, honestly, I don't know if our opinion is the same as everybody else's. I mean, but I could understand though, because they've put in all this. The point being is that they put in all this work and you expected it and that type of thing. Why that would be, you know what I mean? That would be a bummer for sure. Oh, Scalba says, don't forget to give a thumbs up. Guys, thank you, Scalba. I appreciate that. And you know what? This mining stream's been going on since I guess we're in our middle of our third month now. We started just after Christmas, and man, we have a great mining community, and we have a lot of guys who come to the stream and answer any other questions. So yeah, if you do like the channel, do that. Thumb it up so other miners can find it, and other people who are maybe straying from Elite Dangerous a bit, who are miners, might come and find the channel for sure. I appreciate it. A Squirrel Lord says both ED and SE are gorgeous to look at and wander around in. So many good chances to create your own beautiful desktop backgrounds. I agree with that, Squirrel. I think I wouldn't knock on Elite Dangerous's look at all. It's a little different. It's not. It's a little more stylistic and not quite as realistic that they're going for. But I think Elite Dangerous, it looks fine. I've never thought to myself, boy, this game looks bad or whatever. And especially there are moments in Elite Dangerous it's like, wow, this is really pretty. And I will say the time I did a VR, I thought it was great. I was like, wow, this is fantastic. All right, you guys, we've kind of flown around here a little longer than I wanted to, so let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to hit an OM. And we are going to just go pick a different spot to fly around now. Okay, right there's probably what I'm looking for. There's a comm array that could work. There's OM6. So we're gonna go just kind of climb up here out of atmosphere and go hit an OM and look around. We definitely were not seeing as many. I haven't seen one cluster, and I've only seen a couple of doublers. So sometimes you need to do this, kind of shake the can a little bit, and then pop the top and see what else sprays out. Because we were just going a little bit longer than I'd like to. Not finding anything. So we'll head down to this SPAL3 and see if we have a little better luck down there. Off we go. Mr. Angel said thumbed up. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Flying with flight assist off is great in Elite. We'll miss that. You can fly decoupled in Star Citizen. And to be honest with you, I think the real good pilots who know how to use decoupled mode can really pull off some amazing stuff. Absolutely. So keep that in mind. All right, we'll switch back to mouse and keyboard from our sticks, and then down we go. We'll go ahead and just kind of head down here. Draconius is saying, guess I'll have to talk to the wife out of a starter pack for SC. And Draconus, that's all you need. I know that a lot of people will tell you you may need more than that. You could go with the Aurora. You can go with one of the starter packs. I'm kind of more of an industrial person, not so much combat orientated. So I might lend towards the Aurora. The one thing I will say though, Drac, just so you know, for a few more dollars, I do think that the Titan is a little bit better starting ship. I mean, it's got a little bit of internal space. It's got a size 4 on its nose, so it can definitely do a little bit of everything, a little bit better than, say, the other starter packages, but you don't have to go with that. You can absolutely just go with a $45 starter and dig it out. It's no problem to do, for sure. So there's a lot of good videos on starter ships and people's opinions, and I think a lot of people head to the Avenger Titan, and I'm definitely one of them. I think that there's some upside to that ship. It gives you a little bit more flexibility in the bounty range. It does have some internal cargo. And Scalbus, he's kind of agreeing. What do you think about that, Archer? What's your thought as far as starter ships go? I might have lost Archer. I don't know. Sometimes I get long-winded. And,
I'm sorry.
No problem.
I'm here just debating because I'm a bit scared. When I say scared, it's like, here I am with a M2, 466, did the math wrong, SCU of Quantanium, and so much shit can happen. DC, I crash. I know if the server crashed, it's recovered.
Sure.
But if I crash, if I get the DC, oh man.
Archer's flying around with a big old load of Quantanium, and he's worried that he's gonna mess up and blow it up. So Archer can comment right now on the best starter ships. That's awesome. Andrea says no, it's fine, man. Andrea says Titan Avenger all day long. Hey Mauricio, how are you, sir? He's at the gym without earphones. That's awesome. He says can't hear you today, buddy. I'm sorry. Mauricio, I definitely, I try to check my audio, but sometimes it is a little quieter than other days. So as you're working out, Rockeye got my first 32 SCU over the weekend. That's a unicorn, buddy. Awesome. Was nice after the game crash that cost me about 300,000. Let's see. Was nice after the game crash that cost me 300,000 in refined Quantanium. Yikes. That's rough, Rock. Mr. Azai says Titan if you're not going to go with the Aurora. Now 14's Mr. Azai's, he's a guy that he knows this game really well. And if he says go with the Aurora or go with the Titan, and I think either choice is good. If you have a few extra bucks, I do think that there's some upside with going with the Titan. Dracula says my combat skills are in line with ramming speed, and that's about it. Trade and mining are my style. Well, you know what? If trade and mining are your style, then you might like box missions early with like the 100 series as well. That's, that air system is a good ship, and that's a ship you can use for scouting later too. So, but the Aurora you'll never get rid of that skiff. It's a great little skiff to fly down to planet side. It's a 30-second call time. It's a nice little ship.
4 gun. I mean,
yeah,
that Aurora can pound some ass.
Yep,
it can.
I mean, the Aurora, it looks a little funny, but it's actually a good ship. I mean, it is a good ship. So, I
mean, the Titan is better. Just because, not just because it's easier to get in and out. Has some cargo, so you can get in and put some boxes in. Mm-hmm. The Aurora. Ooh.
I agree with that.
Although in the old days, I did use the Aurora to do box missions, and I would fit 12 boxes in there. Hey,
box missions are a great thing to get started in too. You kind of get you land and take off and all sorts of different. You get to see the different places. I like box missions for early game. I think it's a good thing to do, and kind of get you kind of just around the verse a little bit, and in all sorts of different different atmospheres and different weather conditions and that type of thing. Andrea says my combat skills are reduced to strafe and up and down while loading my QT in hopes that the clip pirate behind me is slower. Fair enough. Andrea Squirrel Lord says I went with the Pisces for my starter. I regret nothing. I love the Pisces. I know that's not going to be everybody's first choice, but I do. I love that ship. I really like the Pisces a lot. That's one of my favorite little. I can land that Pisces like crazy too. I could put on a show with that Pisces.
I love the Pisces because it actually looks like a ship. For many reasons, but mainly the one I like the Pisces for is because it looks like the Shuttle Pod 1 from Star Trek Enterprise.
Yeah. The Pisces is like a Star Trek shuttle. So this is a 55 here at 26%. So it's a 5505 at 26%. Both these rocks are mineable, so I might have to break both of them. I think I'll just do that. We'll just break both these. So I have a 3885 at 32%. That's not going to be, here, I'll just put in the numbers. Why not? We'll get out QuantCalc and make it happen. So this is a 3885 at 32%. Calculate. And this is a 5505 at 26.5. Add rock. So there's 24 SCU in the first one, 29 SCU in the second one, a total of 54 SCU between the two rocks. So I should, getting a little bit of luck here, I should be able to maybe break both these guys, and then maybe get myself a uni and with some headroom to spare. So we'll just go ahead and make that happen in here. Now notice I'm going to pivot around, and I'm going to use the dark, like the shadow of the sun, as I get closer here to give myself a little more contrast. It's just one of those things you like to do when you're going to mine. Now, of course, I'm just going to make sure my drift is not drifting. Go ahead and crank the laser intensity up to 100%, and we'll get breaking these guys. So, getting back here. Drac, that ship is the Aurora. That's what it's called, and there's several different versions, but the Aurora is, it looks a little funny. It's kind of squarish on the backside. I like that ship though. It reminds me of a little bit of like a ship like that you'd see in at least the front side of it, like in Avatar. It almost reminded me of like a ship from Avatar. Andrea says the only thing the Pisces misses is a bed. I love the Pisces. It's a great little ship. I mean, I do like I like the cargo back end of it. Square Lord says I love to see the taxi style paint job for the Pisces in the 85X. That's a cool idea. I like that. Mr. Ranger says I'm pretty sure that when I start SC, my combat skills will involve a lot of praying and cursing. You know what? I can appreciate that. You know, that makes a lot of sense to me. That's actually really funny. And yeah, that is really funny. So as you can see, as we got into the optimal, I feathered back to about 70%. I'm just kind of keeping. You want to just use the mouse wheel. That's what I have mapped, whatever you have mapped, to just kind of put a little more energy in. As it gets up towards the overcharge, go ahead and pull it back. Always flirt with the lower part of the optimal more than the overcharge. This is going to be an easy, clean break. You can see right now. Boom. Easy peasy. Squirrel Lord says, scoop it up. I gotta break it up before I scoop it up, though, right? Like taxi driver. Yeah, Fortnite caught that too. Mr. I caught that one too. That's funny. Alrighty. Alright, nothing in that one. So this looks like it's breaking pretty clean here. There's two. The first two had nothing in it. This guy here is going to have a little bit in it, 5%. So that's not great. But I bet you a couple of these are going to be okay. This is a hundo. Yep, that's a hundo. What about this guy here? 415. That's going to be a 75%er. Okay, yep. And then my first combat was I crashed into and got the bounty. That's what Scalpel says. That was his first. That's so funny, Scal. I do a lot of crashing into people too. When I fly the arrow a lot, and for some reason occasionally, I definitely have ran into people a little bit in that ship for sure. I'll be the first to admit it.
Me is more ground than asteroids.
Absolutely. So, all right, we'll go ahead and start breaking these guys up. And, it did get up into the overcharge for just a second, and then I hit the... Then I went ahead and just kind of rolled it back and hit a brant, and flattened it out. Instability 0.53, resistance 0.20. Very easy to deal with. We will go ahead and get focused here on the mining part of the mining stream, and see if we can't... see if we can get these broke up. I've got 2 different rocks to break up, and then we should maybe, if we're discerning with the laser, maybe we'll get good and lucky, and we'll have plenty of 100%ers to do a uni. So that guy broke. Some of those broke below the surface, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I do see some wiggle room there. Here's a 5%er. I'm not going to break that 5%er. There's enough overhead here that I don't think I need to. I am going to do the 75%er. I'm going to kind of crank this up really fast, and then I rolled it back. And I'm trying to get as much of this guy broken with this brant as I can. Obviously I didn't come back with full charges on both my brants. So, having, using, trying to get at least 2 rocks with that per brant broke is going to be kind of my goal here, for sure. And then, guys, I do focus a little more on the mining part than the chat part when I'm doing the mining, just so the stream doesn't end in a fiery blaze. Because this stuff, for those of you who don't play Star Citizen, this stuff is a little bit volatile. When you do finally decide to deal with this stuff, it definitely can blow the ship up if you put it in the overcharge too far. So. Not to let it scare you. It's not a terribly dangerous thing, but it just requires just a touch of focus. So 531 mass here. Not a real big rock, but we'll go ahead and get her broke up. And then you guys are in good hands. It looks like Mr. Zai is keeping an eye on the chat. And he is a real sharp Star Citizen player and probably can answer most of your questions while I'm mining and not necessarily looking at the chat.
Yeah, because well, I do know what distractions make you do.
Sometimes they make you crash into asteroids with a lot of Quantanium on board. That's the way I
That's
understand
not funny. That's not funny.
That's the way I understand it, anyways. I mean, that's funny. Oh wow!
Yeah, and lose all. And not only that, lose 3 FTLR XLs. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's not always easy. Chris Bates says, I thought you liked explosions. I don't know if you've seen it, Archer, but I put a video on the channel where we were trying to push the 890 jump this weekend into Atmo. Oh man, and that ends in a fiery explosion. It's so funny. We had kind of looted all these bodies in the 890 jump, for of course getting ready because they are introducing selling. And so we were kind of, I think I was helping 52 get a bunch of bodies kind of looted and up in there, and after that, 8 and 11 were there, and they were like, hey, let's see if we can just push the 890 jump around, which is what we decided to do. The 890 jump decided to push the Taurus around that I was in, though, instead, and it blew it up. But I was recording, fortunately, and it was really funny.
So you can't push it.
We were pushing it. I don't know. It seems like it probably would have taken a long time. We had a C2, an Aegis Redeemer, and a Taurus all kind of lining up on a side of it and giving it a shove, and eventually the Taurus went up. It was so funny. The video's only like about a minute long. I mean, because it's just a really quick, funny video for sure.
Like I said, if it's fun, it's fun.
All right, so we will be. This is a 5505. This is not going to be a fast break, but we will break this rock for sure. And I'll kind of tuck in a little closer. You can see I put the optimal window right in the shadow. And this 55, this rock will break. It just will take a little bit of time to build some charge into it, and so we will just kind of keep after it. So the Titan is a little bit pricey for a starter, and like you could absolutely go with the Aurora, put the extra guns on it, and make do some bounty hunting, do a little box missions, get used to the game, decide if you like it. And then you only have that $45 investment. You absolutely can do that, and it would be just fine to do. If you, like I said, if you're serious about space games and you kind of look at some videos and you decide, I do think the Titan's a little more bang for your buck. But you could always also just melt. That's one of the cool things about Star Citizen, and one of the dangerous things about Star Citizen is you can always melt that ship and then just go up. You can get the $45 ship, fly around for a week or two, and then just melt that $45 ship into the upgraded starter for the Titan, and just put $15 or more $20 in at that point. So you have some options. Yeah, no, we can break a 5500, Scalba, for sure. Nope, 5200 is not the cap. 5500 is getting there. I've actually broken a 5934 before, with just a native. Lancet. The Lancets, it starts getting up over 5,700, and you just want to crawl under your desk and cry because it takes so long to build the stuff. But yeah. 5,500, you can see we're doing this. It's building slowly, and we'll have this for sure. Now, it can fall out. It can take a little bit longer than your typical break, but it is absolutely doable. 5505. You can see we're up about 90% now. It's just about to crawl into the optimal. Squirrel Lord is saying either the Titan or the Pisces. I could go with either one of them and make do.
Both are good.
Yeah, I mean Pisces for the box missions is a great little ship, and it's a ship that you keep forever. I think, honestly.
Yeah, but for combat, I don't know.
Well, for combat, I think I would probably go with more the Aurora Titan path. But if you are into like kind of boxing mission type things, and keep in mind, I mean, I do think that there's going to be some kind of when the cargo factory comes, it's not going to be trading with buy-in. there's going to be some, you know, hauling missions. And even those ones that have like a little bit of SCU, I think will have options. So we'll have to see, though. That's you know, I'm not going to make promises for Star Citizen. I got to be careful, I suppose. That's a losing proposition. But I think that's one of the things that they're going to want to. So look, we broke up into the optimal. And I will, in this particular case, you can see it's kind of falling out, going back up, falling out, going back up. We will let it kind of climb a little higher before I roll it back. I'll let it get up kind of near the overcharge before I actually roll back a little bit. If it actually gets up that high, you can see it fell back out. That's okay. That's what happens when it's up around 5,500. But you can absolutely do this rock.
I can breathe now. Landed and my ship is stored.
Landed and stored with 460 some SCU of refined Quantanium.
466.
466 SCU of refined Quantanium. That is probably around 4.3, 4.4 million. Just quick math in my head. Something like that. I mean, I may be off 100,000 or 200,000, but. Look at that. Easy break, you guys. All right. So that was I was pretty close to that guy, so that's why I got the shield hit a little bit. Look at this great big chunk is nothing. That's a good sign, because if that chunk's nothing, then other chunks will have stuff in it. Scalba says that's 4 mil plus. That is 4 mil plus for sure. All right. So here's a hundo. We're going to break this guy up first. Oh, hey. Not a huge mass on this guy. Fire that brand.
The Titan is pretty, especially with a skin on. Oh yeah, I have the military camouflage, the green on it.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Oh yeah, somebody said that they liked the way the Titan looked. Oh yeah, the Titan certainly is pretty. Yeah, I mean, that does get referred to sometimes as the Space Penguin. But I think the Titan's a good. I mean, it is a really cool ship. It's got a size 4 nose cannon on it, which is, don't sleep on that. That's a decent cannon for, especially if you're just first starting out. You can put a hurting on some low level bounties with that thing, and even as you get better, I mean it scales a little better with you. It has internal cargo space, which is fantastic. It's got I think it's got the bed in it and all that stuff too, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of upside to that Titan. If you can spend a touch more money, I do think it's well worth the money. But you know what? Like I said, most important thing is to kind of make the choices that fit your financial budget and be groovy with it.
But one of the things that makes me like the Titan is that it's the only one that looks like a spaceship. Looks like a space shuttle.
It does look like the space shuttle.
It has the blankets, the heat blankets on top, white.
I agree with that.
The black heat tiles. Yeah, it's amazing. Love it.
I agree with that, 100%. And it's a cool looking ship. It flies really well, as well. I mean,
Yes, it does.
It does fly
fast.
well. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's fast. Absolutely. So we're just kind of working our way around here, finding the things with Quantanium in it and breaking them down the second time. Look at this, a 373 mass. This is going to be a low percentage, though. I'm not going to worry about that. There's these real low percentages. Mr. Zai says, we have personal hangar bays located through the verse. They aren't completed yet, though. I believe in 3.18. Yeah, I think that's right. I think 3.18 is correct. So, awesome. This is a 15%er, so this doesn't have a lot. Look at it, it's a 1.48 instability. I don't think we're not even going to, we won't need to use a brand on this. We can kind of manage this one without it. See, I brought her down to 17. I brought her down to 10. I'm just going to feather back and forth. 15, we're holding just fine right in the middle of the optimal. As she kind of feathers up, we'll feather down. Or as it climbs, we'll kind of feather down. And as it falls, we'll feather up. We're still holding just fine in the middle of the optimal. It does swing a little bit more. You can see with the 1.48 instability. but absolutely manageable. 1.75 is about the area where I really think you know, it begins kind of getting pretty wild at that point, depending on how much the rock mass there is. And I'm going to kind of swing around on this guy. There's another piece in here that's got quite a bit in it, I think, if I were to guess correctly. There's a couple of big chunks right there. This one doesn't have anything in it. Right? Nope. This one doesn't have anything in it. Okay. This big guy doesn't have anything in it. Yeah. What do we have here? Oh, this one does have a little bit in it. Oh, this is that 4%er. Okay. Yeah, I think we're ready to scoop. I mean, between the two. So let's go. Let's fly back over here. We're going to start looking for hundos here to scoop. They're going to be, you know, the purple outline. And we're just going to look for our first hundo, and that is not a hundo. We're going to go into extraction mode, and we're going to start scooping here. That's a 99.9%, so we'll go ahead and grab that. And we will start scooping here. We want to be pretty discerning with the lasers at this point. We definitely want to try and... We have an opportunity here for, you know, for a uni. So we want to take advantage of that. We're off to the races here. There's 5 SCU. We're going to scan every one of these. There's plenty of time to do it between the two rocks. Another hundo. Let's grab that. A lot of these are going to be... There's one in here that might not be, so we just want to... But we're grabbing every one of these that's 100%er we can. There was a couple of 5% breaks on large mass stuff that's going to eat away at some of the, you know, some of the Quantanium, but I think that shouldn't matter. Now there's a 54%er, so that's why we wanted to scan. We didn't want to, you know, we're definitely trying to get a pure Quantanium run this time. That's a 7%er. If we can do it. There's no guarantee that we're going to be able to, but if we can, that's what we're trying to do. We certainly have enough wiggle room here, I would think. All right, so we definitely have... we're going to scan this guy here. So there's another hundo. We're crossing 13, 14. Next, we're scanning here. There's a 72%er. Kind of working the edges here. Here's another hundo. Okay, and there was one more rock here. A good size one. There's a chunk of it. There's a hundo. All right, so now we've crossed into... There's 3 different ones here. Oh, let's go ahead and get a scan on this guy. Oops, I'm not getting a scan result on that guy. That's okay. I'm not getting a scan result on that guy. I must have scanned... Oh, I am. Hold on. I think this 72 is not... Oh, that's a hundo. Good, 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 good. So we've crossed... I'm going to go back over to the other rock now. We're looking for the hundos over here now. And this is why we broke both of them. We're trying to just kind of work it. And for those, there's a big old hundo at 218. That's 4 SCU. That's great. That's going to get us easily into the 20s and up over 23.37. That's a fantastic first go with this other rock. All right, there's another hundo. This is 180, maybe a 165. So we are now crossing 25 SCU of Quantanium, almost 26. Just, you know, taking our time, being discerning with the laser. We're still 12 minutes and 45 seconds. That's 62%. We don't want that guy. Hydrogen fuel just went down to 75%. We're just fine. No worries there. All right, we're just kind of keeping the lasers looking here for any other hundos. We just need a couple more. There's one right there. All right, so that is a 28 SCU there. This guy here, we're going to give this guy a look. And 14, I really do appreciate you keeping after the chat. We're definitely just kind of wanting to do the right thing here. We've got a few more purples to scan. We're at 28 point some. So if we can get a hundo in this pile or two, that's a 28%. If we could just squeeze another hundo or two out, we would be in good shape. That is not a good one. 6%. It's 100% barrel. Oh no, we're down to that 2 rocks. 31%er. Yikes. And last but not least, this was a 0%er. Oh no. Well, we're at 28. Let's just double check there isn't something down there. I knew that's not stuff. That's not stuff. We'll check all these one more time just to make sure. We definitely know that none of those were. We're just trying to get a pure, 32 SCU of Quantanium. It doesn't look like we're going to make it this time, but we're just going to double check our work to make sure that we didn't kind of miss something, and take a little bit different, kind of a different angle over here. We still have 11 minutes. We have plenty of time. We're not in any crazy hurry here. All right. Yeah, that's a 54 there. I don't think we missed any hundos over here, but that's a 7%er, and there's a couple more rocks here. Pretty sure yeah, these are all yellows. It doesn't look like we're going to get quite a uni here, but you know what? We're not complaining. We're just making sure. There's a 72%er. We'll kind of cry uncle and pull that guy up in and call it good. We're at 29 SCU of Quantanium now. 30 point some and some change. One last scan here. They just didn't break up that clean between the two. Yeah, 100% barrel there. Does make me wonder if oh, that's probably what it is. That's probably a dead break. There was a piece there. Oh, maybe not. Let's see. There's this guy, and then there's this guy. Oh, I missed him, you guys. Look at this. I forgot. This first break down here in this corner. Look at this. This is going to be a hundo down here. So I did, if I forgot about these ones. These were hundos down here. And so I did miss my chance to get a uni. But that's okay. This is what happens. Like I just missed those ones down there. I'm at 31.32, so I was 0.7 shy of a uni. We're not going to cry about that, but I definitely missed, and that's why kind of flying around and getting a little bit different angle or whatever. You know what? I get lots of unis, and I definitely had a chance at one there, and I just missed her by 0.7. We are not going to cry. That is a fantastic run, and so no big deal. We don't, we're not going to, anytime you take the prospector out and you get 30 SCU of Quantanium, you should be dancing a jig. That is a lot of money in that. There's, damn near $250,000. And, you know what? That is that's a great run. That was a 2 crack. It was surprising to me. Like I kept looking at, I had gotten to the other side of those big rocks, and I kind of forgot about that initial kind of low impacted purple. And so when I came back at it from the other angle, a lot of times in the mole we do that. In the mole you have 2 or 3 people on the mining lasers, and it is amazing. Sometimes you can just do a 180 and find that other 100%ers that were sitting there. It is a normal cool thing to kind of have to spin on those things and look at them and be real discerning with the laser. And so, yeah, just no big deal. Not quite a uni, but an absolutely stellar run for sure.
But still, you could have gotten a uni.
Archer?
Yes.
No, I know. You're absolutely right. I could have gotten the uni, darn it. That's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel your pain. The other day I could have gotten.
Scal was saying set my MFD to comms. I will do that, Scal, for sure. I'll do that here in a second. I'll do it right now, actually, while I'm in Quantum. Boom. Comms.
I have to do that too.
You do that?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that too. I came to Loreville because I thought I could buy that ship here.
Oh no, you wanted the what ship?
I'm not gonna say. It's gonna be a surprise.
Oh, mine a Starfarer.
A Starfarer? What?
Come on, refueling's coming, man. Aren't you big into that gameplay loop? I'm just teasing. Alrighty. We will head on in and put this guy in the hopper.
Although I was eyeballing the 890 jump, but I was like,
Now, because we were being a little discerning on the laser, we just did get first alarm. But first alarm is when we're already through second quantum and coming up on the space station is just fine. Easy peasy,
yeah,
lemon squeezy.
enough.
What's that?
Yeah, close enough.
All right, so let's go ahead and we will do what was recommended here and just call. Look at that. It's going to happen one time. Look how easy that went. Scalba, quit being right, Scalba. Darn it, Scalp.
That's a good thing about Lyria and Arcal 1 because
Yes.
you're close.
And if you're in
million
the
kilometers.
if you're in the sun, you don't even have an OM marker. Somebody's got a mole over here on a pad.
Ooh.
It's called the Drac is asking the biggest ship that you can solo with. It's this ship right here, actually. I'll show it to you, Drac. Here.
A mole?
It's that ship right there. It's an Argo Mole. That guy is a sweet, sweet ship right there. You can solo in it. I prefer the solo in my Prospector. It's got 3 different lasers on it, and so you can have a pilot and 3 different people mining on that. And they share the UI. It's a great ship. It's a lot of fun. I love the Mole. So we'll go ahead.
My only gripe with the mole is that the fact that the pilot doesn't control the laser.
Well, and
get out of
and that's reasonable. I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? It does make it a little more tedious if you're soloing it. You've got to get out of the pilot seat, run down to the center laser, take a ladder down, climb on it. That means positioning your ship is very important.
Exactly.
But anyways, yeah, there's another good look at it. It doesn't look big from this distance, but if you go over next to that thing, it's enormous. It's a huge ship.
Well, another drawback of the mole is if you screw up and you overcharge a rock, you cannot move it. Dead.
Andrea says, I love the mole's cockpit, and you can have one turret to crack and one to scoop. Yeah, you absolutely can kit the mole out to have one laser that specifically has the scooping mechanic stuff on it. Another little bit of a flexibility to the mole.
I thought of it.
Oh yeah, we do. We specialize those all the time. Like for if you're doing the braking, but if you have one laser that's just FLTRXLs. I put 2 FLTRXLs and one the XTRXL on there. So, you get the 2 FLTRXLs to help with the inert, and then the XTRXL will offset kind of the slow scooping mechanics because if you like 3 times slowing down your scooping mechanics, it makes it pretty slow. And so if you're solo moling, you definitely don't want to be quite that slow when you're pulling your stuff. So we jumped into the station. we stored the prospector, and we are on our way down to the refinery. So, shameless plug section, guys, hey, I will mention, if you like the stream, please do like and sub. We have built an unbelievably awesome mining community here. Lots of times you can just come ask a mining question while the stream is running. People will answer your questions. But anything theory crafting Star Citizen we'll talk about. It doesn't just have to be mining. It can be any part of the game. And chances are we'll have something to say about it, or have used it, or tried it, or know something about it, or I think all of us watch a lot of the content that's created as well. So always love to help new players. That's my favorite thing, and the reason I started this is it's pretty blue collar, straightforward. We just kind of do the mining that we do and let people watch, and then we answer questions while we do it. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody. I'm making a few space bucks answering some questions. People get to answer questions, but I get to learn from you guys, which I think is one of the most important, and really, I have learned so much from people in this community. So there is that guy. So I'm debating now. Let's see here. Andrea says, my last rocks had enough 100%ers to get me full, luckily. Haven't had need of the filters in a while. Really enjoy the easy Vaux Rieger build. Andreas, they're using the two Vaux, I think they're C3s, or those. There are a lot of people who swear by that, Andreas, and they do like the two Vauxes and the Rieger. I've seen that before. Chris Bates Chris has given me an idea. Hey, 14, you should hear this idea. Chris had a really cool idea about, if you're hauling quantum sensitive material, if you spool your quantum drive with somebody else in your party and they're the one who fires the actual quantum drive and you just kind of go into quantum, if the quantum sensitive material will boom. So we'll have to try that for Chris one of these nights, and I'll be the guinea pig. If it does go up in a blaze of glory, then I'll just have another explosion video to put on the channel, which, hey man, those are always
for science.
Yeah, for science, exactly, for science. It's a cool idea, though, and one that I really didn't think about. So it does make you wonder if the real question is, in the code, is you triggering what it's going to, is the catch, or, is it just going into quantum by itself? It's an interesting question Chris asked earlier today on one of our chats back and forth when I was at work, and it was a really good question. So,
well,
I'm debating whether or not I'm going to go mining one more time. We've had a couple of good runs here. I think I'm just going to call it tonight, you guys. It's getting on to be 9 o'clock. I definitely have a little bit of work to do tonight. So this is that time of the day when I just come out, kind of get out of character and just say thank you all. Thanks for coming. Thank you for contributing. Thank you so much, Archer, for showing up and chewing the fat with us. Archer did the other part of the... Yep. Archer did the other part of the game loop, right? I do this mining, and then I bring it to the refining center. But once it's done, then you have to do a cargo run, where you take all the refined material, put it in a cargo ship, and haul it over to sell it. So that's always the scary part, because if you crash...
That was scary.
Yeah,
that was scary.
You don't have to haul everything. You can break it up into smaller runs and offset your costs or whatever. But anyways, I just wanted to say thank you all for showing up. It was a lovely stream. I appreciated everybody's input. Please take care of yourself, and I will see you all around the verse.